Hi guys, so I know we're having a little bit of a hard time with percent change or percent increase or decrease, and so I wanted to make this video to help you guys with that. So let's look at this problem. Flash caught 15 villains last year. This year he caught 7 villains. What is the percent increase or decrease? Which is basically what is the percent change, right? So our first step is to write out his original amount. So his original amount was 15 villains last year. And then he went from 15 to 7 villains. Right? That's the new amount. So if anything, if I'm having a hard time figuring out which one's new, which one's original, I might just label it OG for original and maybe N for new, for 7. Okay? Or I'll just write new. Okay. So we know that it's probably a percent decrease because he's going from 15 to 7. Right? So there was a percent decrease here. So when we're trying to calculate a percent change, we're trying to figure out, hey, what percent of 15 did we add on to itself to equal this new amount? Or take away from itself in this case, since it's a decrease, to make this new amount, right? So there's a simple equation for this. So what we do is we write the percent change, and it equals the amount of increase or decrease, and it's over the original amount because you're trying to find what percent of that original amount changed, right? So in order to find the amount of increase or decrease, what I do is I take the new amount and I subtract it, and I subtract the original amount from it, right? And I divide this from, and I put the original amount over under everything. So it's new minus original over original. Okay. So if I were to write that, it would be 7 minus 15 over 15. And then I also taught you in class that we make this the absolute value so that we don't have any negative numbers. Okay. And then I also showed you that we multiply by 100 so that we can find the percent, because without this 100, it would just be a decimal, right? It's not the percent. We have to multiply things by 100 to find the percent. So if I did 15 minus 7, that gives me 8, right? Or actually, technically, this would be negative 8, absolute value over 15. Then that equals positive 8, because absolute value makes everything positive, over 15. And it's times 100. I'm going to ignore the 100 for now. I know some of you guys know to cross, multiply, and cancel it out. But I'm just going to ignore it for now because right now I just want us to focus on finding this decimal. So what we'll do is we know that fraction means divide, right? So we're going to do 8 divided by 15. We know that 15 can't go into 8, so we have to add the 0 point. Add a 0 here. 15 goes into 80 5 times, right? And that gives me 75. I'll subtract, and that gives me 5, because this becomes 7. Cancel 0. That gives me 5. All right, 15 can't go into 5, so I'll bring down another 0 because we know there's an infinite amount of zeros. 15 times what gets me close to 50? 15 times 3. And that gives me 45. 50 minus 45 is 5. I'm seeing something happening here. I'm going to bring down the 0. 50. That's 50 again. Times 3, 45. I think I have a repeating decimal because no matter what I do, I'm going to end up with 5 remainder, right? So I know that this is going to be repeating, the 3's. And so now I'll just rewrite it as a decimal, 0.533, and I'll just put a bar above them. And then times 100. Actually, I'll just do it like this because that multiplication sign looks like a decimal. There you go. So 0.533 times 100. We know that anything times 100, we're basically moving the decimal point 2 spaces to the right. So if I move this 2 spaces to the right, that'll give me 53.3, and technically it has this repeating bar on top. I could round it if I wanted to, and just leave it at 53.3%. And that's the percent change, 53.3% change. So I just want you to remember that there's a simple formula to solve for this. You just need to make sure you're writing out your thought process, right? The original number and what it's turning into, that's a new number, because this is a percent decrease, right? And it's really important to have our original number as the denominator, all right? Or else you're not finding the percent change of the original amount. So, yeah. Well, let me know if you have any questions about this.